Right guys, so today we are gonna do a care video on reticulated pythons. So this guy is a mainland reticulated python. He's a male. Males typically get smaller than females. Females obviously being a lot larger, they're the ones that carry the eggs. And when they have clutches of eggs, they have a lot of eggs. These are not for beginner reptile keepers, snake keepers. They are for the more experienced, and that is simply the fact that they get so big. I mean, this guy is a very big snake, and you need to know what you're doing really when you're looking after one of these or keeping one of these as a pet. So realistically, you're going to want to give this snake as much space as possible when it is an adult. When they're younger, you can start off in a smaller vivarium and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade, but it's not going to be cheap to obviously keep doing that. So most snakes are actually the opposite to claustrophobic, they're agoraphobic. So if you put a big snake down, or any snake in fact, on the floor, it's probably going to find the smallest space to go to feel more secure. So these guys come from Asia, Thailand. They're like quite high humidity, between 50 and 70%. To achieve high humidity, you can have a really big water bowl in there, or something like a pond, for instance. So if you was building a massive enclosure, like a 10-foot enclosure, you could have a pond in there, or a pool if you like, for one of these snakes. Also spraying, if you're spraying, that'll create humidity. What I've found is they tend to shed really bitty. So because they're such a big snake and the skin isn't quite like other snakes, they shed quite bitty. You're going to want a basking spot of around about 30-32 for these, going down to about 24 degrees. Just give them that gradient, and obviously you want to give them enrichment, plenty of hiding spaces, foliage, hides, stuff like that. But they are quite a destructive snake, so because they're such a heavy-bodied snake, they'll basically wreck a lot of things in their enclosure. So you might get a little bit chewed off with replacing stuff. So make sure it's sturdy, make sure it's very sturdy. Branches, anything like that that's in there, personally I screw them into the vivarium and do it like that. So I would not recommend having one of these as a first time snake. You need experience to have one of these. So obviously if you have maybe had ball pythons before, then moved up to something like a boa or something a little bit more bigger, something more powerful, then maybe a reticulated python is the next level. They are such a cool snake to have. They're so underrated because they're so big. That's a massive factor. So you obviously have to give them that space, but they are very strong as well. You wouldn't want to have, say, a female mainland reticulated python and not be able to have the strength to deal with it, or even have somebody else at hand to help you with that snake. In my opinion, is having a snake hook. So this guy is going for a little wander now. I use a snake hook on big snakes, and the only reason I use a snake hook is to let them know that I'm coming in. So if that's his head and I touch him on his head, that lets him know that I'm coming in to get him out instead of feeding him. Bearing in mind, this snake will eat big prey, so it won't have a problem having a go at you if it thinks it's going to get fed. So what I suggest is a snake hook, tap it on its head, or touch his head, and that lets it know that you're coming in. This is Rodney, this is obviously the shop pet, and I don't normally stock reticulated pythons. It is one of them things that is more of an order in for a customer, because I want to make sure that customer he's definitely prepared for one of these snakes. So hopefully you'll be able to hear him. Can you hear that? So what they do is, he's not hissing, it's how they breathe, because they're such a big bodied animal. They breathe quite aggressively. There you go. So he's just breathing them, he's not hissing at me. He knows that this guy is tap trained, so he knows that we're out now. So we're out, I'm handling him and I'm not feeding him. When I'm feeding, what I do is I open the vivarium and I step back behind the glass, so that way I'm never going to get struck by him. So I'll open the vivarium, I'll step back so the glass in his vivarium is almost shielding me, and then I'll dangle the prey. I'd personally use very long tongs. I have fed him by hand. I am quite confident with him now, but you've got to build up to that, especially with something like this, because he's going to do some damage. He's got 100 teeth, and they all face backwards like fishing hooks. And as you can see, he's really gripping onto me now. He's not trying to kill me, but it might feel like that. He's just holding on. He nearly did kill me then. No, he didn't. So he was holding on. He's holding on. He had hold of my neck, and he's literally just making sure he's secure. So yeah, let's do a little recap. You're going to need a big enclosure for something like this. There is different types of reticulated pythons, different morphs, but there's also dwarf, super dwarfs, which are supposed to be smaller. I've never owned one, so I can't tell you if that is correct or not. However, I have had micro pigs before, and they was not micro pigs. I bought them as micro pigs, and they were massive. So just bear that in mind with these. Obviously, I know there's dwarfs and super dwarfs and stuff like that, but I'd be very conscious of it might not be. So you go in on trust a lot of the time. So yeah, let's recap. You need a big vivarium for one of these. You want to be experienced. Really, you want to be strong enough to obviously handle these. And this is no offense to anybody out there that's small or not strong. You need to be strong, because if I wasn't capable of getting him off me, then yeah, it could cause me a whole lot of problems. So yeah, so a big vivarium, basking spot around about 30-32, cold end 24-25, high humidity 50-70%. Really have a think if you're going to get one of these. They're such a cool snake to have, and they can train them, but it's for the more experienced. So yeah, hopefully this has sort of set your mind out on whether or not you want to start handling or keeping big snakes. So I'm just going to let him down on the floor here, and you can see just how big he is. He is double the size of me. So there you go, guys. Bye.